These are 10 of the greatest Xbox accessories ever made. They are my personal favorite go-to choices for any Xbox gamer, and the exact accessories that I use every single day in my very own personal gaming setup. The best ones that I have found from hundreds of Xbox products that I've tested on this channel. First, let me show you a very unique controller that's made for Forza Horizon 5. This is made by Thrustmaster, the company that make all of the really cool steering wheels that you can purchase for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, and so on. But this is like a controller version of their steering wheel technology, you could say, if you may be limited on space. So upon first impressions, this just looks like a standard pro gaming controller that you would first assume is for FPS shooters, where you would shoot like that, because it has all of the standard adjustable triggers that you can change. So you have the rapid fire triggers, or you can have them set to like full length. And then obviously you've got your back paddles on the rear. And that is also combined with the mouse style buttons. Like these feel like mouse clicks, like very fast response time, that you would first assume is obviously an FPS shooting controller. However, when you actually switch out the D-pad, because the cool thing about this controller are the magnetic thumbstick modules, so you can change all of these out, so you can move the thumbsticks around, so it's more like a PlayStation controller. You can put the D-pad up there, but more specifically, I just literally threw it across the room. Oh my god. This exact thumbstick module is actually a steering wheel. So when you switch out the D-pad and throw this in here, this then provides you with a much more accurate input for your racing games. Now you would first be assuming that, whoa, Ben, you've just switched out your thumbstick and now you don't have any D-pads. So how are you going to control other aspects of the car or the radio station in Forza Horizon, for example? Well, luckily, these buttons on the back are mapped to, by default, to control what your D-pad would control. So you can still change various aspects of your minimap, your Anna and all that type of stuff inside of Forza Horizon 5. But furthermore, there's also some software that you can install on your PC where you can go ahead and customize this controller, what all these different buttons do and all the mappings, so you can really fine-tune it to however you like and whatever configuration you go for with your different sticks. Now, one major drawback of going with this controller in particular is that it is only a wired controller. It isn't wireless, so you do have to use this cable. Now, to be fair, this is a high-quality braided cable. It looks pretty decent and it sticks into place, but another problem with this cable that I just don't understand why they chose to do this, it's like a micro USB cable. It's not a USB Type-C connection, which every other Xbox controller is, whereas this is like something you would find on a PS4, like a really old-fashioned USB head. So that's a little bit disappointing, because if you lose this cable or you misplace it, you like have to ratchet around because you can't use your normal Xbox cables to connect this bad boy up. This controller does also have profiles, of which you can map 2 different user profiles, and you can switch between them with these 2 buttons on the bottom of the controller. And then there's 2 lights on the front of the controller that will change depending if you're on preset 1 or preset 2. Now, this next accessory isn't exactly revolutionary for something you would use with your actual console, but a great addition to your desk. So right here, I have an Xbox Series X pencil pot. So this little thing removes and you can throw different pens and things in here. Then you can throw this nice little divider in that's magnetic and it'll attach, and you can divide all your different felt tips in separate areas. And I use this thing on my desk just, to the side, and I can throw my pens in there, and it looks really cool and keeps everything on theme with my Xbox gaming setup. It's complete with all of the details you would find on an Xbox Series X. It's got the power button, it's got a disk drive, it's got the USBs on the front, and even on the back, it has a Seagate expansion card and a HDMI port, plus the fan grills. It's crazy, the detail on this thing. The build quality of this thing is also very good. It isn't just some cheap plastic junk that you'd throw on your desk. It's actually made out of metal, as you can hear. Probably by far my favorite product that I have bought in the last 12 months is the Fanatec DD Pro. Now, this is a pretty expensive steering wheel, and it's actually designed for the PS5. But because it has interchangeable wheel rims, you can use the quick release system and put on a compatible steering wheel rim for whatever platform you want to game on. So although it's designed for the PlayStation and particularly Gran Turismo 7, you can take that wheel rim off and put on an Xbox compatible steering wheel, and it will work on your Xbox Series X. And likewise, it will also work on the gaming PC. So it's the only steering wheel right now in the market that works on Xbox, PlayStation, and also PC. And this is a huge feature, because if you like to race on various different platforms with your friends, having to own multiple different steering wheels is actually more expensive than just buying one very good one. And what makes this Fanatec DD Pro so special is the fact that it is a direct drive steering wheel. It isn't like one that's on those gears and on a rotating belt type thing. It's direct drive, which means the forces are significantly stronger, the steering wheel is way more accurate, and overall it's just more immersive because how bloody strong the feedback is. It's insane. Now, it's super easy easy to switch between the compatible platforms on DD Pro. You literally just power it up and then tap the power button, and the color of the LED on the power button will change in accordance to whatever platform you're actually using. So it's blue for PlayStation, green for Xbox, and so on. The Fanatec ecosystem is also very interesting. So there's all of the different wheel rims that you can purchase, but you can also upgrade the pedals, you can buy gear sticks, you can also buy the handbrake. It's insane. So you can just like start with a wheel and then build out like an entire car. It's super cool. It is a pretty awesome product, this one by Fanatec. My only complaint is the actual design of the steering wheel base. Because of all of these grills, it attracts dust like crazy, and it's super difficult to clean. Honestly, like trying to get a cloth in there to get the dust out of those little grooves is impossible. Next, let's take a look at some of my best recommendations for headsets on the Xbox platform. Now, I'm actually going to be pretty boring with these and literally just recommend the official Xbox gaming headsets, both the wireless and wired variation. Main reason for this is because overall, I think these are brilliant headphones for build quality. They're not crazily priced. You know, you can pick these ones up for around $35–40, I think, the wired versions, and then the wireless ones are around $85–90 depending on the time of year. And they have super cool features where you can switch between the mix of the chat and gameplay. You can basically have a nice mix balance with these ear cups in a very slick design. And also you got your volume controls, and they're very, very comfortable with all of the padding. Furthermore, the flagship version has like Dolby Atmos and all that type of support if that's something you're into. And then the cheaper ones are just a great all-round wired headset. Now, they don't have the fancy chat mix features like you get on the premium version, but you do still get a nice volume dial to control the overall volume of the headphones, which is nice and easy, and they just plug straight in with a good quality cable. Now, easily for the past sort of 8 months, my go-to headset was these wireless ones by Xbox. However, I recently switched over to the Astro A30s, which is a little bit more of a premium option because these do cost like over $200, that they're pretty expensive. But the main reason why I've changed over to these is because of their cross-compatibility across all of the platforms. The problem was I had these expensive headphones for my Xbox, and then I also had the InZone H9s, which are like a $200 headset for my PS5. And whenever I was playing, I'd have to switch them, make sure they were both charged, and it was super inconvenient. And the money I'd spent on 2 different decent priced headsets for all the platforms was actually more than just buying one pair of headphones. And these Astro A10s work on every single platform. They're Bluetooth supported, and they also have a little USB dongle that you can throw in like the little Lightspeed thing and connect it to your Xbox or whatever. And another cool feature that I absolutely love about these ones in particular is the dual connectivity. So you can be connected to your Xbox, for example, via the little Lightspeed USB, and then you can also listen to music or take a phone call at the same time via the Bluetooth. This is super useful. When I was recently setting up like a live stream with a friend, I had him on WhatsApp, like we were talking across the phone on Bluetooth, while also setting up the live stream and checking that we could hear each other and like disabling mics and going, oh, I'm hearing you through that. It was insane like how useful that feature was, and that was because of the dual connectivity that these had. Plus, the features that I love from the flagship Xbox headset, which is that mixing between the gameplay and your chat mix, that sort of mix knob. The Logitech headphones also have this with this little dial here, so you can use this to change the volume up and down, and then also rock between the mix of the chat and also the gameplay. I must admit the design's a little bit better on these ones because of how big the dial is for you to rotate, but this still works quite well and achieves the same results in a much more compact manner. While we're on the topic of talking about some of my favorite audio options, the Sonos Beam 2 is by far my favorite soundbar I have ever owned. It's so good that I actually own 2 of them, the version in white and also the version in black in both of my 2 YouTube studios. Now, these are small and compact soundbars that aren't too big but are also super duper powerful with insane audio quality. They sound tremendous, both for playing video games on, watching movies, and probably my favorite feature is just being able to hook it up with the Bluetooth on my phone and play music, blast it out super duper loud while I'm working all day. Considering you get the premium build quality of a Sonos product with the cool app integration and the premium sound, all for around £200, I think is unbelievable value considering like how amazing the Sonos brand is. It's pretty up there with like Sonos, Bose. It's pretty high end. In the past, I did also use the Sonos Beam 2 on my desk because it was so small and compact. It didn't take up too much space, so I could hook it up to my gaming PC. It has incredible versatility because of its size, and it doesn't require like an external subwoofer to get good bass performance. This is all you need, just this tiny thing. I also like the fact that it comes in 2 different color variations. White matches the Xbox Xbox Series S and Xbox One S and so forth. And then obviously the version in black matches perfectly with the Xbox Series X if you're going for a more moody gaming setup. Next, let's take a look at some other controller options that you can use with your Xbox, and these are the official Xbox Series Elite 2 controllers. I'm a huge fan of this gamepad. I think it's fantastic. Now, although I have the super duper rare Halo Infinite Edition, which looks amazing with all these limited edition features, the one that I use the most is actually the Core, because it's a standard controller. I don't want to wear this one out. I have this more as a showpiece, but I use the Core model all the time. Now, I do have a huge gripe with the Core model when I first bought it. That's because it doesn't include the rear back paddles, which you can use for mapping various different commands, maybe like reload, slide, jump, whatever you sort of wish. But when you do purchase this without the accessories bundle, it will come literally like this, which is exactly the same as a regular Xbox controller. So you're literally paying for no functionality. However, if you do purchase the accessories pack, which I obviously have done, you get things just like with this Master Chief one here. You get like a carry case, you get the charging cable, you get the charging dock, and then you got all the additional thumbsticks that you can switch out on the actual controller itself. Now, I personally hardly use any of these switching out features. The main reason why I use the Series Elite 2 is for the rear back paddles and the internal battery, because the internal battery on this thing literally lasts for ages. I hardly ever charge this controller. And another feature that Xbox added to this in a firmware update was the color changing power buttons. You see how this is red? Now inside of your Xbox controller settings, you can dive in and choose whatever color you like, because this is an RGB spectrum. Choose anything you wish and have your own personalized light on your controller. It sounds like a bit of a gimmick, but when you have a lot of different controllers and you've got all these different controller profiles set up on here, and maybe you've got like 2 Series Elite 2s and they're the same color, it lets you just sort of distinguish what color controller it has. So if you maybe got like a brother or something and you've both got the same controllers, you know which is yours and you know which is theirs. It's pretty nice. Now, if you are just like me and you also want an Xbox Series Elite 2 controller, but you're not too bothered about the changing your thumbsticks and your D-pads, but you do want these rear back paddles, an alternative is to purchase some third-party paddles off of Amazon. You can pick these up for like $7.99, super duper cheap, instead of spending like $50, $60 on the official accessories bundle. And you can literally just purchase some almost fake back paddles, which are exactly the same. They're pretty much identical. But because obviously I'm making YouTube videos on it, I purchased the accessories bundle so I could showcase that in my video. Another fantastic accessory that you can pair with your next generation Xbox is one of the LG OLED TVs. Either the LG CX, which is the one I have here that I purchased back in 2020. You can pick this thing up pretty cheap for like X stock, like old stock, because it's been discontinued. Or the slightly newer version, the LG C2 from last year, that also can be picked up for around sort of £800 for the 48-inch version. Now, I own both the LG CX and also the LG C2 across my various different gaming setups, and the image quality is absolutely insane on these OLED panels, great HDR performance, but more importantly, these are the only TVs on the market that support every single display feature on the Xbox Series S and X. So you get all of the HDR, the Dolby Vision HDR support, 120Hz support, everything HDMI 2.1 on this. They are always my go-to option whenever I'm building out a gaming setup, and I've tried all of the different sizes from 42-inch all the way up to 77 inches. And every single one of those LG TVs has just blown me away. Superb product. Now, if your budget can allow for it, I would highly recommend getting the official Seagate expansion card. Now, in the last 12 months, these have significantly dropped in price. I purchased this for around £210 when it first came out at launch, roughly, whereas now you can get the exact same 1TB Seagate expansion card for around £145, £150, like a whole 60 odd pounds cheaper than what I paid for. And over the coming years, this will only continue to hopefully improve and get a little bit cheaper so more gamers can get their hands on this. But my personal favorite feature about the Seagate expansion card is the fact it saves you so much time. In my head, I feel like that's why I'm paying the premium. It's just a nice, easy solution. When you first unbox this, all you've got to do is just throw it into the back of your console, turn your Xbox on, and it will be just there. It'll be instantly detected and you don't have to do anything. Just start downloading games. That's all you have to do. Whereas if you look at the alternatives from Sony, for example, you have to take your PlayStation apart, remove the cover for the NVMe SSD drive, put the NVMe SSD drive into the PS5, then format it, and then change the destination where your games are being saved because it doesn't save it on there. Oh, it's so annoying. Very convoluted process. Simple, but convoluted, whereas this is like seconds instead of like half an hour to an hour of your time. In addition to this, the Seagate expansion card is actually compatible across multiple different Xboxes. So I own a Series X and also a Series S, and I use the same expansion card on both of those consoles. So I'll take it out of my Series X, and my entire game library will be saved on here, and I'll plug it into my Series S. I don't have any issues. I've never had any corruption. I've never lost any game saves. I've been able to just move my saves around my games across my consoles, which has been super useful. Recently, a competitor to the Seagate expansion card was revealed by Western Digital, and this alternative is going to be around $20-30 cheaper than the Seagate expansion card. So going forward, there's clearly going to be a price war between all these things, so expect these to become more readily available. But if this is still out of your budget, a great alternative is picking yourself up an external SSD. An external SSD can be very useful for playing all of your old Xbox One games off of it. Plus, you can also play games that have got things like FPS boost on there, so have been slightly enhanced for the Series X. Those can be played off that old drive, basically old Xbox One games with an update. But it will allow you to keep all that free space on the Series X for the next generation games that require the high speed for quick resume and all that type of stuff. So it keeps your console free for your latest games. Your SSD drive keeps all your old games on there. Everything's nice and separate. Also, you can store next generation games on the external SSD. You just can't play them off of it. You can store them on there and then just transfer it onto your internal storage when you want to play it, then transfer it back. It'll take a couple minutes or whatever. So that option's always there for you to expand your storage a little bit cheaper. My final product recommendation is a new one, and that is for Xbox Cloud Gaming. So this right here is the Logitech GCloud, and it's basically an all-in-one device that allows you to take cloud gaming kind of on the go, you could say, but it also runs Android OS, so you can use it kind of as a tablet too. So it's a nice little versatile device that you can use for portable gaming and also watching YouTube, Netflix, all that type of stuff on there. Now, I recently took this on a trip over to Monaco where we tried it out on the world's fastest internet, and I was blown away by how awesome Xbox Cloud Gaming has sort of become. Because when Xbox Cloud Gaming first came out, you had to sit and wait in those queues like 40 minutes before you could get into a game, and then it would be super laggy and all over the place. Whereas now you can just jump straight in, and then devices like the GCloud just make the accessibility to this form of gaming much easier. Because again, when I've tried Xbox Cloud Gaming with my iPad, I also need an Xbox controller. So when I'm traveling, I've got my iPad and I've got my Xbox controller in my bag, and that's getting like, pushed all around the backpack, and I'm gonna like break the thumbsticks on it or something. It's just inconvenient. Whereas this, I can throw it in a little carry case in my backpack, throw it out, boom, got the tablet, everything's charged, got like a 12-hour battery life, so it lasts ages, and you just start gaming. Because it's that all-in-one device, you've got the controller attached to the screen, and then it's separate, so I can use my iPad or my phone for work. In addition to this, you can also use the GCloud around your house with sort of remote play. So for example, if your TV's occupied, like there's family members watching a movie that you're not that interested in, you can just get the GCloud out and start playing your games from your Xbox or via Xbox Cloud Gaming. On the topic of Xbox Cloud Gaming, if you want to see me try it out on the fastest internet in the world, you should check out this video next.